Welcome to Innovation Brief by IdeaScale, where we turn your work team into innovators.
Leaders often face this, right? We have this inspiring vision, groundbreaking strategies all planned out. But then the tough part, how do we actually turn that big picture thinking into tangible outcomes? How do we get from that aspiration to actually doing it?
Exactly.
That's what we're tackling today, isn't it?
Yeah, we're diving deep into something fundamental for turning those strategic sparks into real, organizational fire. Tactical planning.
Okay.
It might not be as exciting as the latest disruptive technology, but it's the engine that drives real innovation, I think. It's the framework to make your biggest ambitions a reality.
So tactical planning, for those who've heard the term but might not have a totally clear definition, what are we talking about here? What is it?
At its core, tactical planning is taking those long-term strategic goals, the ones that define your organization's future, and breaking them down into shorter-term, actionable steps. Creating focused plans with timelines that span, say, a few months to a year. It's about making those abstract ideas concrete, step by step.
So it's like, if our strategic goal is to climb a mountain, tactical planning is figuring out which trails to take, setting up those base camps along the way, and, figuring out what we need to pack for each stage.
That's a great analogy. Tactical planning defines what needs to happen at different levels of the organization to support that climb. It takes those big strategic objectives and breaks them into focused projects with clear, measurable milestones. And what's important, it's adaptable. So whether you need to address a challenge right now or guide your team's efforts over the next few months, tactical planning gives you that flexibility.
So for this deep dive, we're really aiming to break this process down, right? Understanding how it actually works, the essential steps, and why it's so important for leaders who really want to foster a culture of innovation. How to turn your work team into innovators, right?
Exactly. We want to give you a practical understanding of tactical planning so you can move beyond just strategizing and actually see innovative ideas happening within your teams.
All right, so we've got a good grasp of what tactical planning is. But why is it so essential for organizations that want to make real progress?
Well, it's the connection between your strategic vision and your day-to-day operations. It's how you turn those ambitious plans into actual timelines and deliverables. Think of a company that wants to be a leader in sustainable technology.
Yeah.
That's their strategy. Tactical planning outlines the specific research projects, product development cycles, the pilot programs needed to actually bring those technologies to market.
So it's not enough to just want to be innovative or sustainable. You need a tactical roadmap to get there. Is that what you're saying?
Precisely. And it provides clarity at all levels of the organization. That overarching strategic ambition gets translated into specific team objectives, departmental goals, even individual responsibilities. Everyone understands how they contribute to the big picture. It's a cascading effect that aligns everyone's efforts.
You've mentioned alignment a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
How does tactical planning help with that within an organization?
This is where tactical planning really excels. By clearly defining the steps, the resources, and the timelines needed to achieve that strategic vision, it becomes this powerful alignment tool. Different teams and departments understand the priorities, how their individual work contributes to those overarching goals. This minimizes silos and maximizes everyone's impact. Everyone's pulling in the same direction towards that common goal.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why. Now let's get to the how. How do you actually implement tactical planning effectively? You mentioned SMART goals. Could you expand on that a bit?
SMART goals are a cornerstone of effective tactical planning. It's a filter you apply to your tactical objectives to make sure they're well-defined and actionable. SMART, as you know, is an acronym, with each letter representing a crucial characteristic of a good tactical goal.
All right, let's break it down. What does that S stand for?
S stands for specific. Your goals need to be clear, concise, precisely defined. Ambiguous goals just lead to scattered efforts, confusion. For example, instead of saying improve customer satisfaction, a specific goal would be increase our Net Promoter Score, or NPS, by 5 points in the next 6 months.
Makes sense. You know what you're aiming for, how to measure it. How about M?
M is for measurable. You need to track your progress and objectively know when a goal has been achieved. Using our NPS example, a 5-point increase is easily quantifiable. You need clear metrics, clear indicators to define success.
Right. If you can't measure it, it's hard to know if you're making progress. What about A?
A is for achievable. Your goals should be realistic, attainable with the resources, team capabilities, and constraints you have. Setting unrealistic goals can be demotivating. It's about challenging your team, not setting them up for failure.
Finding that balance between ambition and realism. Okay, got it. What's RM?
R stands for relevant. The goals must be meaningful to the team and directly contribute to those big strategic objectives. Everyone needs to understand why this particular goal is important and how it helps the organization get to that larger vision. If a goal feels disconnected or random, it's hard to get people on board.
That makes sense. People are more invested when they see the purpose of their work.
Right.
And finally, T.
T is for timely. Each goal needs a time frame, a deadline. This creates a sense of urgency and keeps everyone on track.
Right.
Without that, goals can easily slip or lose momentum. So, increase our Net Promoter Score by 5 points within the next 6 months. That within the next 6 months is the crucial timely element.
So SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely. That's a great framework for setting tactical goals. Now, you mentioned 6 key steps in the tactical planning process itself. What are those?
These are the actions you take to get tactical planning going. The first step, obviously, is goals. But it's not just any goals. It's about carefully aligning them with your long-term strategic objectives and short-term actions. And, of course, applying that SMART framework we just discussed. Understanding your strategy and your customers' needs is key to creating good goals.
So the strategic vision guides the creation of these tactical goals.
Exactly. Second is tactics. These are the specific strategies and approaches you'll use to reach those goals. This could include different methodologies, research, development frameworks, or market entry strategies.
Okay.
The key is ensuring these tactics align with your strategic KPIs, those metrics that show you if your overall strategy is working. Tactics are the broad strokes in your plan.
So the overall how we're going to achieve the what of the goals.
All right.
Step 3.
The third step is actions. These are the granular day-to-day tasks that need to be done to execute your tactics and achieve the big objectives. They are the link connecting those strategic goals with individual contributions. These are the specific steps within those broader tactical approaches.
So like a detailed to-do list that makes things happen.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What comes after actions?
Resources.
Exactly. Step 4 is resources. This is identifying and allocating all the resources needed to execute your plan.
Right.
And resources aren't just about money. They include materials, the time your team members have, specialized knowledge, tools, equipment, anything needed to make progress.
So ensuring everyone has what they need to carry out their tasks.
Right. Fifth is timeline. Setting clear timelines with deadlines and project milestones is super important. This creates structure, clarifies priorities, and really improves efficiency. A well-defined timeline makes sure everyone knows what's expected and can manage their time well.
And the final step in this tactical planning process.
The final step, number 6, is plan ahead. Tactical planning isn't just about what's happening right now. Good teams think ahead and build in some flexibility.
Right.
You need to anticipate roadblocks, identify risks, and develop plans to deal with them. This ensures you can adapt to unexpected challenges without totally derailing your progress.
Makes a lot of sense. It's about being prepared for the bumps in the road. Could you give us a few examples of tactical planning in action across different business functions?
Sure. Let's say a company wants to increase its market share in a certain demographic.
Yep.
Their tactical plan might involve things like conducting market research to understand that demographics' needs, developing a marketing campaign targeted at their preferences, training the sales team on engaging with that group, and setting a goal to increase sales within that demographic by a certain percentage.
So very specific, measurable steps towards that market share goal. Any other examples?
Take a tech company that wants to make their software more reliable.
Right.
Their tactical plan could involve things like conducting a code audit to find vulnerabilities, implementing a more rigorous testing process, providing training to developers on secure coding, and setting a timeline for releasing updates with those fixes and improvements.
Again, very concrete actions for a clear objective. Can you give us one more?
Let's say a retail company wants to improve their online customer experience.
Okay.
Their tactical plan might include redesigning their website, implementing a live chat feature for customer support, personalizing product recommendations, making the checkout process smoother to reduce abandoned carts, and setting a goal to improve customer satisfaction scores.
Those examples really bring tactical planning to life. It's about translating broad goals into focused actions. You also mentioned a more detailed 9-step tactical planning process. How does that differ from these 6 steps?
The 9-step process goes deeper, breaks down those initial 6 steps. It starts with understanding strategic objectives, making sure everyone is clear on the big goals. Then comes identifying key initiatives, the major projects that will contribute to those goals. Right. And the third step, as we've talked about, is setting specific goals, making sure they're smart.
So the first three steps are setting the foundation, defining what needs to be achieved.
Exactly. Step 4 is resource allocation, where you figure out and secure the budget, people, technology, and other resources needed for each initiative. Step 5 is creating action plans, detailing specific tasks, assigning responsibilities, and establishing timelines and milestones.
Right.
Step 6 is risk assessment, where you proactively identify potential challenges and develop plans to address them.
That risk management piece is so important to stay on track.
Absolutely. Then, step 7 is monitor and measure progress, using those predefined KPIs to track how you're doing and adjust as needed. Step 8 is communication and alignment, making sure everyone in the organization is informed about the plans, understands their roles, and is aligned on those objectives.
Okay.
And finally, step 9 is regular review and adaptation. You constantly review how effective your tactical plans are and adapt as the business environment changes or as you learn new things.
That 9-step framework seems very thorough and actionable. For the leaders listening, what are the main advantages they can expect to see in their organizations by using tactical planning?
The benefits are significant. First, it supports larger goals by providing a clear step-by-step path to achieve them.
Right.
Second, it improves performance by focusing efforts on key measurable benchmarks. Third, it creates alignment across different teams and departments, making sure everyone is working towards the same goals. Fourth, it engages employees by giving them a sense of purpose, ownership, and showing how their work matters.
Those sound like big advantages for any organization. Are there other benefits?
Oh, there are plenty. It turns abstract strategic concepts into tangible actions, making progress feel real. It clarifies priorities, so there's no confusion about where to focus energy and resources. It also adds flexibility, allowing for adjustments without disrupting the whole strategy. Plus, it ensures projects stay on schedule, brings structure and predictability to project completion. It enables consistent KPI tracking, giving you data-driven insights into what's working and what's not. And finally, it eliminates waste by focusing resources on the most impactful activities.
That's a really compelling list of reasons why tactical planning matters. Now, let's clear up a common point of confusion. What is the difference between strategic and tactical planning?
The main difference is in their scope, focus, and time frame. Strategic planning is that high-level, long-term vision for the organization. It's about where you want to be in the future and how you will get there. It usually involves senior leadership and looks at a time frame of several years, even decades. Tactical planning, on the other hand, is more focused on the near future, typically 1 to 3 years. It's about the specific strategies, projects, and actions that teams will undertake to achieve those strategic goals. Think of strategic planning as setting the destination on a map, while tactical planning is charting the specific routes and daily steps to get there.
So strategic planning is about the what and the why, and tactical planning is about the how, all in service of that larger strategic vision.
Precisely. They are interconnected but distinct, operating at different levels within the organization.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the key message you want our listeners, those leaders striving for innovation and growth, to take away?
The bottom line is this. Tactical planning is the bridge that connects your ambitious strategic aspirations with practical execution. It provides the roadmap to truly turn your work team into innovators, turning those big ideas and strategic goals into tangible results.
Absolutely. If you're ready to move beyond just strategizing and start seeing real innovation in your organization, we encourage you to visit IdeaScale.com and book a demo for a free trial. See how their platform can help you put tactical planning into action.
And we'd love to hear about your experiences with tactical planning. What challenges have you faced or what successes have you achieved?
Right.
Subscribe to The Deep Dive for more insights every Tuesday and Friday, and feel free to leave a comment sharing your takeaways or any questions you have.
And to close, think about this. What's one small element of tactical planning that you can put into practice today? Maybe implementing clearer, smart goals within a team, or defining more specific action steps for a project. It's about taking that first step from vision to reality.
That's a great point. Even small changes can make a big difference.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.